Today's news highlights 20250905. Date September 5, 2025. Republic of China September 5, 114. Time cutoff point, 1500 hours on the same day. News highlights: cancer in Taiwan has been the leading cause of death for 45 consecutive years, with an average of one person diagnosed every 4 minutes and 2 seconds. Japanese cancer Dr. Norihiro Sato reminded that cancer is closely related to eating habits, and the 3 major breakfast landmines include: 1. Refined starches such as rice and bread can easily cause blood sugar spikes and promote cancer cells. 2. Processed meats such as ham and bacon are WHO Class 1 carcinogens, and long-term intake may increase the risk of bowel cancer. 3. Desserts containing fresh cream and sugary drinks can lead to obesity and cell oxidation due to high sugar and fat, increasing the risk of various cancers. Experts recommend avoiding refined sugars and processed foods, choosing prototype foods such as sweet potatoes and taro, and replacing processed meats with natural proteins. News highlights: the Executive Yuan will pass the new Ching-in Loan Improvement Plan, and the new Ching-in loans allocated after September 1 will no longer be included in the upper limit of the real estate loan ratio of the banking law to solve the problem of unable to lend and insufficient bank quotas. Premier Zhou Rongta emphasized that the needs of young people for self-occupancy and first-time purchases should be met first, and banks should not force insurance or financial products to be tied up. The Ministry of Finance estimates that more than 1.2 million cases pending funding can be accelerated. Experts believe that this move will help alleviate the loan stuck for home buyers, but the release of funds is limited, and banks will still strictly review them, and home buyers must plan their finances carefully. News highlights: nearly 10 people in Taiwan have been on dialysis for a long time, and the proportion is among the highest in the world, mainly due to not black-hearted food, but diabetic nephropathy. Tan Dunsai pointed out that long-term poor blood sugar control is the key to the rise of the dialysis population. She recommends consuming onions in moderation in your daily diet because they contain quercetin and sulfide, which have antioxidant effects, help stabilize blood sugar, and protect the kidneys. The doctor reminded that onions can only be used as an adjunct and cannot replace drug treatment, and diabetics still need to control their blood sugar according to the doctor's advice. It is recommended to combine it with regular exercise, a balanced diet, and avoid a high sugar and high salt diet to effectively protect kidney health. News highlights: on September 3, the conversation between Chinese and Russian leaders Xi Jinping and Putin at the Beijing military parade was captured by a live microphone, and the two talked about organ transplantation that is expected to extend human life to 150 years, which attracted international attention. Since the CCP has long been accused of forcibly harvesting organs from Falun Gong practitioners and ethnic minorities, commentators believe that this dialogue has exacerbated external concerns. U.S. Congressman Johnson and human rights experts bluntly said that this reflects the completely different worldview of Chinese and Russian leaders from democratic countries, and called for stronger legislative sanctions. The European Parliament, the United Nations, etc. have also repeatedly expressed concerns, and many states in the United States have banned insurance coverage for transplant surgery in China, and relevant congressional bills are still in progress. News highlights: the Korean Consumer Agency investigated 6 hot-selling sweeping robots on the market and found that 3 Chinese brands Siwimi, Ecovacs, and Cloudwhale had security vulnerabilities, which may allow hackers to invade and turn on the camera, resulting in the leakage of home images and personal information. In contrast, Samsung, LG, and Roborock products have better safety and no major problems. These 3 Chinese products are popular for their low prices and complete functions, but security concerns have raised market alerts. The Consumer Affairs Agency has asked manufacturers to make improvements and remind users to set secure passwords and regularly update software to reduce information security risks. News highlights: Taiwan's Hanmingtang physician Zhou Zhonghan shared his anti-aging experience on the program, pointing out that the turning point of aging is childbirth and menopause, and it is recommended to nourish the spleen and stomach at the age of 30, the liver at the age of 40, and the kidneys at the age of 50. The focus of daily maintenance is on 3 aspects. First, maintain exercise to improve sleep and metabolism. Second, reduce refined sugar and processed foods to avoid accelerated aging. The third is to promote circulation through massage and foot soaking to maintain complexion and physical fitness. He emphasized that adequate sleep, a natural diet, and good circulation are the core keys to delaying aging. News highlights: Apple has been criticized for its lack of innovation in recent years, but foreign media broke the news that Cook has launched a 3-year reform plan. It is reported that in 2025, the extremely thin and light iPhone 17 Air will be launched. In 2026, the first folding phone, the iPhone 18 Fold, will be ushered in, which may return to underscreen fingerprint recognition. In 2027, it will be unveiled as the iPhone 20 Glass Swing All-Glass Commemorative Edition, skipping the iPhone 19. The new product will break the traditional release rhythm, focusing on flagships in autumn and launching entry-level models in spring. On the other hand, Apple is also secretly developing AI answer engines and strengthening server and chip layouts, but it still lags behind Google, Microsoft, and OpenAI in the development of generative AI. Cook emphasized that the AI revolution is no less than the internet, promising that Apple will launch amazing products. News highlights. German media pointed out that the number of traffic accident deaths in Taiwan exceeds that of the 911 terrorist attack every year, which has attracted attention. The report criticized the poor pedestrian environment, the sidewalks were often occupied, the driver lacked a sense of rules, and the police enforced the law lax. The Ministry of Transportation responded that statistics show that the number of deaths has dropped from more than 3,000 in 2022 to 2,950 in 2024, and it is moving in the direction of improvement, but it will take time to change. Officials emphasized that reforms will be accelerated, including strengthening law enforcement, using AI technology to promote traffic safety, and calling on the outside world not to be deterred from tourism in Taiwan due to reports, emphasizing that Taiwan's beautiful scenery and friendly people are friendly. News highlights. New Taipei Jinshan's Penglai Cemetery was foreclosed due to arrears, with a reserve price of 1.88 billion yuan, and today's auction was cancelled for 8.1 billion yuan, and only the National Treasure Group's Fuzuo development bid, which caused heated discussions. It is reported that Fuzuo has a claim of 25 billion yuan with Zanyun Company, the owner of the park, and has signed a 15-year management contract, and it is speculated that this time it may be dealt with through debt offset. Although the manual machinery was reasonable, it still bid at an amount more than 3 times the reserve price without competitors, which made people in the foreclosure industry incomprehensible. News highlights. The Ministry of Commerce of the mainland announced that it will impose anti-dumping duties of up to 78.2% on imported cut-off wavelength displacement single-mode fibers such as Corning, an American optical communication factory, effective immediately, identifying U.S. companies as evading existing measures by changing trade patterns. Corning Division 37.9%, OFS FET 33.3%, and other U.S. companies as high as 78.2%. The industry expects Taiwanese fiber optic and cable manufacturers Huaxin, Warong, and Diet to benefit from the order transfer effect, especially Huaxin's deepest layout in the mainland and the greatest benefit. News highlights. Goldman Sachs pointed out that the global stock market is entering a postmodern cycle, and it was difficult to maintain high returns by relying on diversification strategies in the past. Factors such as the pandemic, trade tariffs, an aging population, and high debt have changed the trend of globalization, complicating the relationship between corporate profits and economic growth. Large-cap indices such as the S&P 500 may return less than past supercycles, and new winners brought about by technology and AI applications will widen the industry, region, and style gaps. News highlights. China television. Zhang Zuping accused Gong Yiding, the son of Sanli Vice President Gong Maifu, of sexually assaulting staff. Gong Yiding then responded on IG, saying that the two had been dating for nearly 1 year and broke up 4 days ago, describing the incident as a relationship dispute. Zhang Zuping strongly counterattacked, accusing the other party of reversing right and wrong, and insisted that he would prosecute the crime of sexual assault, and had appointed Xia Yuan as his legal representative, emphasizing that if he won the case, he would claim 1,300 yuan and donate it to the stray animal home, and the case continued to attract attention. News highlights. Some of the tariffs imposed by the Trump administration in the United States have sparked heated discussions on Wall Street about the tariff refund right deal because the Federal Appeals Court ruled that it exceeded its authority. Importers can sell their potential tariff refund rights to financial companies in exchange for cash, reducing the uncertainty and cost of legal challenges. Although if the Supreme Court finally overturns Trump's tariffs, holding the right to refund can yield high returns, the transaction risk is extremely high, and the buyer's bid usually accounts for only a small part of the potential refund amount. News highlights. Apple reached a cooperation with Google this week to introduce Gemini AI models, accelerate iPhone and hardware sales, and promote Google to expand AI infrastructure. This move allows Apple to save time on self-built AI development, improve system integration efficiency, and catch up with competitors such as Samsung and Huawei. The market is optimistic that the sales of the new iPhone 17 series will increase by 3.5%, and the Pro series will still be the main force. At the same time, Hon Hai, as Apple's largest assembly partner, has also undertaken a large number of AI server orders from Google, becoming the biggest beneficiary. News highlights. The Chinese vocational home run King Lin Zhizheng retirement series will debut at the Taipei Dome today, 5th, and the Golden Song singer Xiao Jingtang will sing for 35 minutes after the game, with a production cost of more than NT $2,500. Lin Zhizheng specially invited Lao Xiao, who is also an Amos ethnic group, to perform, and the two met in advance to discuss the repertoire and Easter egg surprises, and interacted cordially. Lao Xiao lined up his work, paid tribute to his senior brother regardless of singing remuneration, and admitted that singers will also grow old, and their vocal cords need to be maintained like athletes' muscles. The box office of the first game has exceeded 2 people, showing the great attention of fans to Lin Zhizheng. News highlights. Zhang Zuping accused Gong Yiding, the son of Sanli Vice President Gong Maifu, of sexually assaulting Sanli staff, and Gong Yiding responded for the first time, saying that he and Zhang Zuping had been dating for nearly a year and broke up 4 days ago, triggering the topic of mother-son love. The outside world dug up the Mirror Weekly Zhang Zuping scandal report in March, and it was suspected that Gong Yiting took Zhang into the door late at night and interacted intimately, but Zhang said that the man was a colleague of the crew and was drunk, and had a humorous attitude. Netizens believe that the focus should be on the sexual assault allegations themselves, rather than the details of their past relationships or scandals. News highlights former assistant researcher Zhang and postdoctoral researcher surnamed Ji from the Superconductivity Laboratory of the Institute of Physics of Academia Sinica are suspected of colluding with manufacturers to issue false certificates, fraudulently receive research funds and occupy equipment, and even use public resources to dispose of their own company waste. On the 4th, the Shilin District Prosecutor's Office prosecuted Zhang Nan and 14 others for fraud, business embezzlement, breach of trust and violation of the business accounting law and sought heavy sentences. News highlights Yu Yinglong, chairman of the Taiwan Public Opinion Foundation, pointed out that the DPP's support continues to decline, and if Lai King does not adjust his strategy, only Ping Dong may be able to win the 2026 local elections. The latest polls show that the DPP's approval and support have declined, while the KMT and the People's Party have shown an upward trend, and the proportion of neutral voters has also reached a new high, and the blue and white forces have surpassed the DPP. According to Yu Yinglong's analysis, blue-white cooperation is difficult and involves complex factors such as ideas, interests, and candidate nominations, and the political transaction process may be full of challenges and risks of breaking the game. News highlights Italian fashion master Giorgio Armani passed away peacefully at his home in Milan today at the age of 91, shocking the global fashion circle. Armani has never been married and has no children, and the brand succession has attracted much attention. In 1975, he founded the Armani brand, known for its simplicity and neatness. Low-key luxury and dresses and suits are widely favored by Hollywood. He was worth about $121 billion during his lifetime, and the group's revenue reached $2.7 billion last year, and his relatives and cronies may become successors. News highlights September has often been regarded as the curse month of the stock market over the years, with Taiwan stocks falling 161 points at the beginning and the VIX Panic Index rising above 22 at one point, causing investors to worry. Cathay Pacific Investment Trust statistics from the past 20 years show that the average return in September was -0.38%, which is highly volatile. Chu Xiangsheng, former chairman of South China Investment Advisors, reminded that although the probability of a decline is high, it is not inevitable, and investors should focus on the overall investment portfolio, especially the AI group, which has risen significantly, and can adjust its allocation appropriately. Su Dingyu, manager of Cathay Taiwan Leaders 50, pointed out that Taiwan stocks have the highest probability of rising in the fourth quarter, and the pullback is a good opportunity to lay out mainstream stocks, and regular quotas can be used to diversify risks. News highlights Lululemon lowered its full-year financial forecast due to the impact of tariffs, with estimated net profit decreasing by $2.4 billion, earnings per share to $12.77-12.97, and revenue of $108.5110 billion, both lower than market expectations, and the stock price fell about 13.3% after hours. The financial report pointed out that 14 new stores were added this year, with a total of 784 stores, but the fashion status gradually receded, and loose styles resurged and were plagued by counterfeiting. Taiwan's supply chains such as Ruhong, Guangzhou, and Donglongxing are also affected by tariffs and market recession, and the stock prices of Taiwanese factories are under pressure, and it may take 2 years for a short-term recovery. News highlights Gong Yiting, the son of Sanli Vice President Gong Meifu, denied Zhang Zuping's sexual assault and harassment allegations, admitted that he had been dating, and said that Jiang's post had caused trouble to his family. Zhang Zuping counterattacked late at night, naming the Gong family's parents and Gong Yiting, angrily denouncing that relatives will protect their relatives, and announced that there would be follow-up revelations. She emphasized that she only wanted to hear an apology, but she did not receive a response, announcing "see you in court." He also questioned Gong Yiting's so-called troubled statement, bluntly saying that he only hoped to sincerely repent and apologize. Zhang Zuping also called the Sanli Human Resources Center, and the other party will keep the call and post records for judicial investigation, but she is extremely dissatisfied with the handling attitude. News highlights 73-year-old veteran artist Liao Jun suffered 3 strokes in April this year, and his son Liao Jinda took him home to take care of him. However, Liao Jinda and his female close friend Yang Wenxi, who claimed to be Liao Jun's main caregiver, went to court due to financial disputes. Liao Jinda disclosed the process of father-son disputes and reconciliation for many years, admitting that interfering in his father's life in exchange for prejudice and depression, but now he has reached an agreement on the division of labor. His father concentrates on recovery and he handles affairs. He accused Yang Wenxi of taking financial documents and continuing to use his father's credit card, and because Liao Jun was unable to fulfill the contract, Yang took over the filming of the advertisement. Both parties are ready to file a lawsuit, and the lawsuit is still pending. News highlights as of today, there are still 3 special prizes of 10 million and 2 special prizes of 200 yuan that have not been claimed. The special prize number is 64557267, the special prize number is 64808075, and the unclaimed awards include Kaohsiung Greater Community and Taichung Consumer Invoices. The 200 special prizes are distributed in Daowen Guanyin District and Zhongli District for consumption. There is also one unclaimed cloud invoice exclusive 100 prize. The Ministry of Finance pointed out that those who use mobile phone barcodes or returnees will be automatically notified of the winner, and vehicles such as membership cards, Easy Card or all-in-one cards can be queried through convenience stores or electronic invoice integration platforms. News highlights: Jolin Tsai revealed that she went to bed at 21:30 every day and drank 2,800 ml of water, causing fans to imitate the Jolin effect. Internet celebrity Nana Q also shared the same routine, but was criticized by netizens for double standards, saying that Jolin Tsai stayed up late to be understood, and she was scolded as a fake persona when she stayed up late. Recently, Cai was photographed having a party with friends until 10 p.m. and still hadn't gone to bed, and Nana Q posted another post comparing the differences, which sparked heated discussions. A small number of netizens supported her self-discipline, while most believed that she was rubbing traffic to brush her sense of existence and questioned the purpose of her behavior. News highlights: 8 o'clock actress Zhang Zuping recently fired repeatedly on the community, accusing Gong Yiting of sexual assault, emphasizing that he only hopes that the other party sincerely repents and apologizes, and questioned Gong Yiting's statement that caused trouble to his family. She named Gong Yiting and his father Gong Maifu, criticized the reversal of right and wrong, and announced that she would resort to law. Gong Yiting denied sexual assault, saying that the two parties had been in a relationship and the woman was out of control of her emotions, and the two sides were at odds. The incident sparked heated discussions among netizens, with some questioning the man's operation plot, and some supporting Zhang Zuping, emphasizing that there was still sexual assault without consent. News highlights: in August 2025, Indonesia caused public outrage and demonstrations broke out in Jakarta due to the government's increase in high allowances for members of parliament. On August 28, after a 21-year-old motorcycle delivery man was run over and killed by a police armored vehicle, protests quickly spread across the country, with parliaments set on fire in many places and the homes of officials and lawmakers looted. The people were dissatisfied with the gap between the rich and the poor and the privileges of the political elite, and thousands of motorcyclists took to the streets to escort the coffin. Indonesian President Prabowo held a cabinet meeting to revoke some parliamentarian benefits and warn of strict law enforcement. According to statistics from the National Human Rights Commission, the demonstrations killed at least 10 people, injured more than 900 people, and detained thousands of people. News highlights: after the Ministry of National Defense completed the purchase of 42 sets and 400 Javelin anti-armor missiles from the United States last year, it will be introduced again in the ammunition purchase model next year, and the Navy has allocated a budget of about 18.8 billion yuan to implement the Javelin missile preparation purchase case, which is expected to introduce more than 100 pieces. The FGM-148 Javelin is produced by RTX and Loma in the United States, can be operated individually, has a range of about 2.5 kilometers, and has the ability to attack and strike, and has outstanding performance in the Ukraine-Russia war. The Army has also purchased thousands of Stinger missiles from the United States in a similar manner, with a total amount of more than 110 billion yuan, to be implemented until 2030 to strengthen the anti-armor combat capabilities of the National Army. News highlights: U.S. President Trump said at a banquet at the White House on the 4th that the United States will soon impose considerable tariffs on imported semiconductors, but companies that promise to invest in the United States, such as Apple, will be exempted. Trump emphasized that tariffs will target companies that have not invested in the United States to exert political and economic pressure. This move may benefit companies such as TSMC, Samsung, and SK Hynix that have built factories in the United States, but it will put pressure on investors who have not yet gone to the United States. The details of the policy are not yet clear, and some tariff measures have been overturned by courts in the past, and the Trump administration is accelerating the Supreme Court trial. News highlights: Zhang Zuping recently posted a number of posts on the community, accusing Gong Yiting, the son of Sanli Vice President Gong Maifu, of sexually assaulting himself and other female staff, and sexually harassing female TV station employees. Gong Yiting responded that he had been in a relationship with Zhang Zuping and denied sexual assault, which triggered Zhang Zuping's strong counterattack, announcing that he would sue for sexual assault, claim 1,300 yuan and donate it to a stray animal home. Zhang Zuping even revealed that Gong Yiting had pulled a female card cafe into the room to tease her while playing cards, but was rejected on the spot. News highlights: last week, U.S. Department of Defense Indo-Pacific Affairs Officer Royer and Su Sijian, who had just been transferred to the National Security Council Advisory Committee, had a secret meeting in Alaska, which occurred a few days before China's 93rd military parade. Originally scheduled for Chinese Defense Minister Gu Liqiang to go to Washington to meet with the U.S. Deputy Minister, but due to the U.S. side's consideration of interaction with China, Su Sijian was instead. The outside world believes that this meeting may be related to Taiwan's preparation to submit a special budget for arms purchases to the Legislative Yuan, and it has also raised concerns about Taiwan-US interaction and Trump's support for Taiwan in the context of US-China trade negotiations. News highlights: actress Zhang Zuping previously accused Gong Yiting, the son of Sanli Vice President Gong Maifu, of allegedly assaulting the actress and disclosed her name and photo. Gong Yiting later admitted to dating Zhang Zheng and said that the two broke up on August 31, but denied the sexual assault allegations. Zhang Zuping posted a counterattack late at night, revealing that he had been hard X in an unconscious state, and choked to publicly take screenshots of the conversation with the man's parents. She emphasized that she only hoped that the other party would sincerely apologize, but the man had no choice but to deny and counter-accuse her of losing control of her emotions. News highlights: the CCP held a military parade on the 3rd, and Xi Jinping, Putin, and Kim Jong-un talked about organ transplantation and immortality while walking, which was exposed by the on-site microphone. Xi said that humans can live to be 150 years old in this century, and Putin also confirmed that the dialogue was true, which attracted global attention. Due to the long-standing organ trading controversy in China, related words were quickly completely blocked on platforms such as Weibo and Baidu. Many Chinese netizens climbed over the wall to deny the authenticity of the audio file, calling it altered audio, but the word 150 skyrocketed in WeChat searches, causing heated discussions inside and outside the wall. News highlights: former President Tsai Ing-wen celebrated her 69th birthday on August 31, making 3 wishes of healthy furry children, smooth weather in Taiwan, and their own safety, and shared pet snacks given by Li King and hiking hats given by Xiao Maiken. Xiao Maiken left a message of congratulations to express her envy for being able to climb mountains often, and Tsai Ing-wen replied overlordly, "Next time I ask you to climb the mountain together, don't refuse me." The interaction between the two was sweet, attracting a large number of netizens to make a pilgrimage, laughing and saying, "Can I watch this for free?" calling the relationship between the two so good that it is enviable. News highlights: after the DPP cabinet reshuffle, Shi Chongliang announced that the current Deputy Director Luo Yuzhen would take over as Director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and the handover was completed on the 9th. 47-year-old Luo Yuzhen took the lead in alerting the epidemic in the early days of the new Crown epidemic and actively preventing the virus, and was known as the Conan of the epidemic prevention industry. He skipped elementary school, graduated from the top of the medical department of National Taiwan University, and went to Malawi, Africa to serve, and was determined to devote himself to epidemic prevention after witnessing the AIDS epidemic. Luo was called mother-in-law's favorite son-in-law by former legislator Zheng Yunpeng because of his calm conversation and warm image, and was named national son-in-law. News highlights: a police officer surnamed Huang of the Taitung County Junior Police Team won the National Police Light Award for cracking down on drug smuggling, but was investigated for allegedly laundering tens of millions of dollars. The Taitung District Prosecutor's Office searched and brought back Huang Yuan for interrogation on the 3rd, and was allowed to be detained on suspicion of violating the Money Laundering Prevention Act and other crimes on the 4th. The police subsequently suspended him and emphasized that they would not conceal, not shelter, and not protect their shortcomings for illegal acts, and would strictly investigate and thoroughly investigate the relevant violations. News highlights: the Jinghua City corruption case spread, and only Kei Wen's and North City Councillor Ying Xiaoei are left in custody. On the 4th, the North Court held an adjournment hearing. Kei Wen's choked up several times, and his wife Chen Paiki even cried through the iron net. What crime did he commit? Emotional and paralyzed to the ground. Technology expert Su Maihua said that Chen Paiki knew that the prosecution had unfavorable evidence, but she deliberately shouted to create an image of political persecution to unite supporters. She pointed out that the prosecution sought a total of 28.5 years in prison for crimes such as profiteering, embezzlement of political donations and breach of trust, and will still face a long-term judicial attack and defense in the future. News highlights: Kuomintang legislator Su Kioxin recently led a team to the Czech Republic, and there were many topics along the way. She first met DPP legislator Wang Yushuan at the airport, and after arriving, she happened to meet senior media person Zheng Hong'ai. On the 4th, she shared a photo of meeting Mr. K in the supermarket on the community, which aroused curiosity, but the so-called Mr. K was not K Jianming, but the Smurfs character Jiabu Miao doll. News highlights: Zobei Crane King Hu Hanluan's business spans Asia, and his company's annual revenue exceeds 3 billion, and he has 4 wives and 14 children, and he is proud of his family and business. Unexpectedly, he uploaded a video on the evening of the 4th, wearing a red floral shirt, with bandages on his shoulders, casts on his elbows, and scars on his knees and wrists. He revealed that he had a bone laceration caused by playing games too passionately, which needed to be treated with ice and ointment, and sighed, "At the age of 64, I can no longer be strong," reminding everyone to exercise moderately and pay attention to safety. News highlights: Zhang Yuqing, the 4th generation of the Zhang family, 34 years old, once cursed in English on the bus last year, and the topic sparked heated discussions. In March this year, he announced that he had taken root in China, and recently shared the latest situation of settling in China for half a year on Zaya Hongshu. In the video, he wears a black tee with light-colored jeans and neat short hair, with mountains and streams in the background, and the atmosphere is simple and fresh. He said that although he did not participate in the 93rd Military Parade, he felt the shock of the grand scene and the soldiers' steps through his friend's videos. After the video was exposed, it attracted the attention of a large number of Chinese netizens, and the focus of discussion was mostly on his outfit and status, saying that he had lost a lot of weight and his Chinese expression is getting better and better. News highlights: the fourth quarter of the auto market is coming, and Volkswagen and Hyundai Motor are the first to launch discounts to seize the market. Volkswagen's limited-time projects in September, the small car the Polo, T-Cross, T-Roc, and the SUV the Tiguan Allspace and Pure Electric ID car series, with discounts of at least 30 yuan for specific models, some more than 40 yuan, plus a German original super-sensitive recorder, plus the government's replacement subsidy, the discount is even greater. Hyundai Motor Company has adopted the strategy of new cars every month, launching 3 new car pre-orders in September, and will launch Inster and 7-seater Palisade in the fourth quarter to meet the needs of different groups, and the Taiwanese auto market has obvious signs of recovery. News highlights: the machine tool industry is facing pressure from a decrease in orders and the appreciation of the new Taiwan dollar, and the do 4 days off and 3 days measure has reappeared. Qingtai Group implemented phased leave from September to November, with some Mondays or Fridays off every week, with an additional 12 days of vacation for a total of 3 months, which is a non-unpaid leave for flexible schedule adjustments. The industry pointed out that Taiwan's machine tools are facing a double blow from high tariffs and exchange rates, making it difficult for net profit margins to maintain international competitiveness. If the market continues to be sluggish, the industry does not rule out layoffs in the future. The overall industry pressure even exceeded that during the epidemic. News highlights: before the central bank's third quarter board of directors and supervisors will appear on September 18, the executive yuan proposed to loosen the new Qing'an loan, which attracted attention to the housing market and the central bank's policy adjustment. According to the analysis of the Financial Circle, the actual undertaking of Xingqian has dropped significantly, and the policy mainly excludes new undertaking cases after September, which is more beneficial to general mortgage customers, but public stocks and private banks will still operate based on risk and profit considerations. The central bank's concentration improvement requirements still exist, and banks need to operate according to the schedule and adjust next year's plan on a rolling basis, with limited room for relaxation. Overall, if the central bank makes too many concessions, it may be slapped in the mouth, and if it does not loosen, it may be responsible for the mortgage shortage. News highlights: former People's Party Chairman Kei Wen's and Taipei City Councilor Ying Xiaoyi have been detained for a year due to the Jinghua City case, and the Taipei District Court evaluated the extension of detention yesterday. Kei Wen said that Taiwan's democratization has been 30 years old, and there are still wrongful imprisonments, and choked up to look back on his detention life, describing that he could only be in a 3-ping room in a state of prohibition. His family and assistants were searched, and his bank safe was also inspected. The prosecution pointed out that the focus of the case is to obtain tens of billions of yuan in 20% volume bonuses in the name of urban renewal, and that legal procedures do not mean physical legality. The court recently ruled that KNU should be remanded in custody until October 1. News highlights: the executive yuan passed the marriage and child care housing policy, planning to release about 10,000 social housing units so that families with children can live in them for 12 years, and encourage young people to get married and have children. Although the policy has been partially affirmed, it has raised questions. Young people believe that housing prices are still high, social housing is limited, and the lottery does not guarantee winning the lottery, which may not truly solve the pressure of marriage and childbearing. Children need to move after they turn 12, which also affects the stability of the school district. The Kui Mama Foundation is worried that marriage and childbearing houses may crowd out disadvantaged households, and suggests that they should be allocated from ordinary households to maintain the disadvantaged ratio and improve the rental market in order to implement social housing policies. News highlights: Taiwan's cancer clock is fast forward again, with one person getting cancer every 4 minutes and 2 seconds, a 45-year high. Professor Norihiro Sato of Japan pointed out that daily breakfast habits may increase the risk of cancer, especially refined starches, processed meats, and dessert drinks containing whipped cream. Refined starches such as toast and bread will raise blood sugar and help cancer cells proliferate. Consuming more than 50 grams of processed meat per day increases the risk of colorectal cancer by 18%. 100 ml of sugary drinks per day increased the overall risk of cancer by 18% and breast cancer by 22%. Doctors recommend choosing good carbohydrates such as sweet potatoes and taro rich in dietary fiber, and controlling the intake of sugar and high-fat dairy products. News highlights: Kunling and Jae-jo have been married for 10 years and have 1 son and 2 daughters. Recently, when Kunling celebrated her 32nd birthday, she took a group photo wearing loose clothes, which sparked heated discussions on the mainland internet, and her belly was slightly bulging, speculating whether she was pregnant. The couple was met by netizens in a large shopping mall in Melbourne a few days ago. Jae-jo wore a black hat t-shirt in a low-key manner, and Kunling wore a heavy coffee-colored jacket with black pants. Discuss. However, Some people pointed out that it is a cold winter in the local area, and thick clothes may only be a visual effect. News highlights: Australian software company Atlassian acquired American startup The Browser Company for $6.1 billion, focusing on Arc and Dia browser technologies. After the acquisition, Dia will integrate Atlassian's SaaS tools such as Jira, Confluence, and Trello to become an AI browser designed for knowledge workers, allowing for cross-tab collaboration and integration of calendars and data. The browser company remains independent and continues to develop new features. This move shows that the AI browser market is highly competitive, and OpenAI and Perplexity have also shown willingness to merge and acquire their technology. News highlights: Italian fashion master Giorgio Armani. Giorgio Armani, he passed away at the age of 91, ending nearly half a century of career at the helm of Armani Group. Armani Group's revenue in 2023 was €24.5 billion and net profit before tax was €2.245 million, and the brand grew steadily, but the global market downturn, especially the shrinking Chinese market, posed challenges. Armani has let go of his retirement and succession plans, and the candidates include family members and long-term partners, but the decision is undecided. In the face of competition from giants such as LVMH and Kering, Armani emphasizes maintaining independence and whether the brand can continue to develop steadily in the future and become the focus of the outside world. News highlights: OpenAI will launch the OpenAI Jobs platform, which is expected to be launched in mid-2026, using AI to accurately match the needs of job seekers and enterprises, challenging LinkedIn. The platform will assist large companies and local enterprises in finding AI-skilled talents, and will be paired with the OpenAI Certifications certification program to provide skill certifications from basic office AI to advanced prompt engineering, with the first batch of partners being Walmart employees. OpenAI emphasizes that AI should not replace work, but improve work efficiency and help people become more competitive talents in the AI era. News highlights: when a female inspector of the Kaohsiung City Police Department supervised the investigation team of the 3 citizens and 1 police station last month, she found that the freezer of criminal evidence was full of frozen food from colleagues, including a large bag of dumplings, violating the regulations on the management of criminal evidence. According to regulations, criminal evidence should be properly preserved to avoid contamination. The branch said that because the freezer had not stored evidence for a long time, employees mistakenly used it as a regular refrigerator. After the incident was investigated, the manager of the evidence room was reprimanded once, and the captain, deputy captain, and relevant personnel of the inspection team were also held administratively responsible. News highlights: the election of the Kuomintang chairman is still unclear. Senior media person Zhao Xiaokong revealed that the current first candidate is Taichung Mayor Liu Zaihuan. If Liu is not elected, he hopes that the current Zhu Liluan will be re-elected, and the third is former Beijing Mayor Hao Longbin. If none of the 3 run for election, he will consider running himself. Zhao emphasized that he does not yet have the qualifications of the central judge, and will not appear on the list at the same time as Hao, and the main task is to persuade Liu Zaihuan to run for election, and the party is still coordinating and observing. News highlights: the low-pressure area from the South China Sea to the east of the Philippines is unstable, and the Taiwan Typhoon Forum Weather Express pointed out that at present, 2 tropical disturbances in the east of the Philippines are developing, and 96W will enter the South China Sea through the Bashi Strait and integrate with 97W over the weekend, which may intensify into Typhoon Taba, moving towards South China and will not directly invade Taiwan. However, its peripheral moisture will affect Taiwan, and it will rain briefly from time to time in the south, Huadong and Penghu in some areas on Sunday and next week, with strong coastal winds and waves, and the probability of afternoon thunderstorms in the north, central and Jinhua will increase, so people and marine activities need to pay attention. News highlights: Zhongyuan Pudu will arrive this Saturday, 6th, and the people are busy preparing offerings to worship the good brothers. Nutritionist Gao Minmin reminded that the perishability of offerings is not due to the consumption of spirits, but due to the selection of ingredients, packaging and worship time. Before worshipping, you should choose fresh 3 animals and 4 fruits, avoid swollen cans and package them completely, avoid direct sunlight during worship, control the worship time, and do not insert incense into food to prevent dust and chemical pollution. After worship, it should be stored or heated immediately to ensure freshness and food safety. News highlights: on the 5th, the Taipei District Court heard the case of former People's Party Chairman Cai Wen's and Ying Xiaoyi involved in Jinghua City and the embezzlement of political donations, and ruled to stop detention. Cai Wen's was bailed at 7,000 yuan, and Ying Xiaoyi was bailed at 3,000 yuan, both of whom must live in designated residences, be restricted from leaving the country and go to sea for 8 months, and be subject to electronic monitoring, and are not allowed to contact, harass, intimidate, or inquire about the case with CO defendants or witnesses. News highlights: the DPP's 2026 Kaohsiung mayoral primary election will be fiercely contested, and legislator Chu Yiying announced her candidacy, emphasizing that she is familiar with the old Kaohsiung County, has rich political experience and high execution, and plans to shorten the gap between urban and rural areas through transportation improvements, including the relocation of Xiaogang Airport and the construction of highway networks. Regarding the party's opponents Lin Dehua, Su Zhija, and Lai Rulong, she said that each has its own advantages and can be integrated amicably after the primary election. Chu Yiying believes that voters expect to know the mayors of the county and district, and emphasized that unity and policy consensus are the keys to winning the election. News highlights: a woman in California, USA, secretly compared the international distress gesture invented during the epidemic to ask for help at a convenience store, so that the clerk noticed something unusual and called the police, and the police successfully arrested the man suspected of domestic violence. The gesture was created by the Canadian Women's Foundation in 2020 to hint to relatives and friends that they need help in the event of gender-based violence. The incident occurred at 7-Eleven in Glendora City, where the perpetrator tried to escape but was subdued by the police and was carrying a stun gun. The employee promptly discovered the gesture and reported it, saving the woman's safety, and was praised. News highlights: a 42-year-old real estate agent surnamed Su in Hualien City unfortunately died of brain death due to aortic dissection, and was still pronounced dead after first aid, leaving behind 9 daughters, the youngest being only 6 months old, and the family was in trouble. Su Nan worked hard to support the family during his lifetime, and the children were well behaved and sensible. Mayor Wei Jiayan visited and presented condolences money, promising that the city government would launch cross-departmental support and assist foundations and public welfare organizations to take care of children's education and life. The Hualien City office has opened a special donation account to call on all walks of life to assist this family who has lost its pillars. News highlights: the Zhonghua Lukang Police Branch received a total of 1,477 traffic violation reports in July, and many of them received tickets for forgetting to turn on the headlights on rainy days, causing controversy. The police said that regardless of day or night, as long as visibility is affected on rainy days, drivers must turn on their headlights, and violators can be fined 1,200 yuan. The police will determine the authenticity of the report based on the rain situation, the activation of the wipers, road conditions, and meteorological records, and call on drivers to turn on their lights on rainy days to ensure driving safety. News highlights: American pop queen Taylor Swift has attracted global attention, and she and star Kelsey plan to hold a wedding in Rhode Island next summer, inviting only close relatives and friends to attend, which is described by the media as the American version of the royal wedding. Taylor Swift, who owns a luxurious estate in Rhode Island, is currently undergoing renovations to add new bedrooms and bathrooms, but it has not yet been determined whether the wedding will be held here. According to sources, the wedding will be low-key and casual, and the two are eager to welcome children as soon as possible. News highlights: Donghae exercised at World Gym yesterday, 3rd, and shared his daily life on IG, but was secretly photographed by the coach in the store and restricted and ridiculed. Who is Donghae? I only know Fahae, causing fans to be angry and flooding the community. World Gym officials immediately apologized and punished the employee to strengthen education and training. The coach involved also publicly apologized to Donghae and fans on IG, deleted inappropriate posts, and admitted to improper filming without permission. News highlights: the 8 o'clock goddess Zhang Zuping accused Gong Yiding, the son of 25-year-old Sanli Vice President Gong Maifu, of sexually assaulting an actress. Gong Yiding counterattacked and revealed that he had been in love with Zhang Zuping for 10 months, exposing the relationship between siblings with a difference of 22 years. Zhang Zuping has always been in high-profile love, and has dated male stars such as Zhou Zioan and Yang Yizhan. She has also dated or had scandals with Wu Haosheng and Ma Hixiang, and even had a sweet interaction with a female friend in 2018, and she called the other party her best friend. Zhang Zuping's rich love life has repeatedly become the focus of the media. News highlights: Chen Lingju recently caused controversy again because his remarks on the Entertainment 100% program 7 years ago were accused of sexual harassment by netizens. In the video, he was asked who he would save first if the 3 actresses were naked and unconscious, and he first replied start a live broadcast and then changed his words to take pictures. Chen Lingju, who has suspended his acting work, responded on Threads, saying that it was just a joke about the show's effect at the time, and had no intention of disrespecting women, and emphasized that if the person concerned felt uncomfortable, he would apologize in person, calling on the outside world not to deny the whole person with a single clip. News highlights: since mainland actress Zhao Wei was listed as a bad artist in 2021, her acting career has been suspended, her assets under her name have been frozen, and the community has rarely been updated. After announcing her divorce from her ex-husband Huang Yaolong last year, she still kept a low profile, and recently posted rare private photos of her travels in Xinjiang. Fans were surprised by her thinness, but also expressed their thoughts and support, saying that Sister Wei is still beautiful. News highlights: the big love drama Good Food Every Day held a press conference on the 4th, attended by Fan Rujun, Zhang Xiying, Lin Xiaoyu, Yang Tu, and others. Fan Rujun carries tens of millions of debts to raise 3 children in the play, and has also been defrauded and lost money in the Spirit Bone Pagoda in real life. Zhang Xiying balances her husband's family and her husband's family in the play, and Zhang Yanming plays the role of a sandwich to coordinate the relationship between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. Yang Tu acted as a conciliator, and the three daughters eventually became best friends. The drama will be broadcast simultaneously on the DA channel and YouTube every Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. starting from September 8th. News highlights this Saturday, September 6th, July 15th of the lunar calendar, is the Zhongyuan Festival, which is also the birthday of the Earth official emperor. Yang Dengsong, founding chairman of the famous Numerology Education Association, pointed out that the treasury symbolizes personal fortune, and if you are unlucky or often lose money, you can replenish the treasury to the three officials through a memorial, and it is recommended to replenish the treasury before worshipping the god of wealth. The treasury replenishment time is from 11 a.m. on July 14th to 1 a.m. the next day, or from 9 to 11 a.m. on July 15th, and the location can be a temple dedicated to the Jade Emperor, including incense, wine, candles, flowers, fruits, gold paper and gold ingots. News highlights the key to financial management is to let money work for you, and compound interest and interest rates are the core of wealth growth. Compound interest is principal makes money, interest also makes money, the longer the time, the faster the asset growth. Interest rates are like slopes, high interest rates grow quickly but risk is high, and low interest rates are stable but slow. Through dividend reinvestment and bond interest reinvestment, money will snowball bigger and bigger. Conversely, debt interest will eat away at the principal like wildfire. Investing can start with 6 steps: establishing cash flow, managing special accounts, automating investments, selecting long-term return assets, long-term holding, and annual reviews. News highlights the tropical disturbance in the Philippine waters may intensify into Typhoon Taba, the 16th typhoon of the year, tomorrow night, and is expected to affect Hong Kong and Macau next Monday, 9/8. Taiwan will have significant rainfall in the coming week, with brief showers in various places in the afternoon of 9/79/10, heavy rainfall in the western half, and heavy rain in local mountainous areas, southern areas, and eastern Huadong. Meteorological experts reminded that 9/79/11 coincides with high tide, and the water level along the coast from Zhonghua to Chi and Hualien is high. News highlights the Taipei District Prosecutor's Office investigated and prosecuted a total of 35 people in a fraud group led by Su Yuan on the 5th, accusing them of recruiting internet celebrities, including Sun Anzuo's cousin Lin Muxi, etc., to lure netizens to pay for love by selling photos and maintaining ambiguous interactions, but were left out afterwards. Su Yuan and 3 other main suspects were sentenced to 15 years in prison, 12 internet celebrities were sentenced to 5 years in prison, and supplementary teacher Chen Mingzhu was sentenced to 1 year in prison for leaking secrets and destroying evidence. Since 2023, the fraud group has set up a number of companies to operate proxy chatbots and influencers, defrauding 48 victims of a total of more than 1,700 yuan through virtual online dating. News highlights dram manufacturer Nanya, 2,408, opened sharply on the 5th, breaking through the 50 yuan mark. Winbond, 2,344, also rose more than 5% at the same time, and the stock prices of memory module manufacturers Adata, Transcend, Team Group, Apacer and Innodisk followed suit. Nanya's consolidated revenue in August reached 6.763 billion yuan, a 43-month high, up 26.4% month-on-month and 141.3% year-on-year, and 29.829 billion yuan in the first 8 months, up 19.45% year-on-year. Taishan Investment Advisors pointed out that DRAM quotations continue to rise, with full production capacity in the third quarter, and gross profit margin is expected to turn positive to 10-15% in 2025. News highlights parents often donate houses to their children out of trust, but if they are worried that their children's disposal of the property will affect their own living security, they can register the house back in their name through consensual return. Land Administrator Zheng Wen pointed out that there is no need for litigation or public contracts for agreed return, as long as it complies with the provisions of the Civil Code. This method can be exempted from deed tax and gift tax, and only needs to pay land appreciation tax according to the announced present value of the land. Through this procedure, mothers can safely reclaim the ownership of the house, save time and money, and avoid the risk of cash flow exposure. News highlights the Executive Yuan resolved on the 4th that starting from September 1st, banks' new Qing'an loan allocations will not be included in the limit of Article 72(2) of the Banking Act, triggering a boom in the housing market, with more than 11 construction stocks rising by the intraday limit. However, experts pointed out that this move only relieves the new Qing'an loan, and the overall mortgage market is still limited by the concentration of real estate loans. News highlights according to people familiar with the matter, OpenAI will cooperate with Broadcom to mass-produce self-developed AI chips for the first time next year, with the aim of coping with huge computing demands and reducing dependence on NVIDIA. This chip is for internal use only, called XPU, for AI infrastructure and not for external sales. The industry believes that OpenAI's move to follow the strategies of Google, Amazon, and Meta will increase Broadcom's custom chip market share and drive its stock price up. News highlights stablecoins are gradually becoming the core infrastructure of global digital finance from a supporting role to cryptocurrencies. Unlike the defensive role of central bank digital currencies and bank tokenized deposits, Stablecoins are issued by non-bank institutions or commercial banks, require 100% reserve support, have both liquidity and confidence, and are suitable for cross-border payments, capital market settlements, and decentralized finance. US dollar stablecoins account for nearly 90% of the market, especially in emerging markets and high-inflation economies, and are widely adopted, becoming the civilian version of the US dollar account and promoting digital dollarization. Its business model covers issuance and redemption fees, reserve income, and payment fees, with a focus on distribution and distribution networks. For Taiwan, stablecoins are both an opportunity and a challenge. If cross-border clearing, tokenized assets, and payment platforms are combined early, international financial connectivity can be enhanced. Otherwise, it will be forced to rely on the US dollar ecology and lose its currency autonomy and competitive advantage. News highlights: Pegatron has recently actively disposed of investment targets to implement investment returns. The company announced that its subsidiary Pegatron Technology, Shanghai, sold 314 shares of Luxus Hair Precision, with an average of about RMB 45.2 per share, a total amount of about RMB 1.42 billion, and a disposal profit of about RMB 7,053. The transaction was not related party, and the directors and supervisors had no objection. After the transaction, Pegatron still holds about 2,670 shares of Luxus Hair, with a book investment of about NT $51.5 billion, or a shareholding ratio of 0.37%. In addition, Pegatron also announced the sale of Canon shares on September 3, making a profit of about 4.94 billion yuan. News highlights: the well-known hand-cranked brand Charity Arresting Pavilion has recently been reported to have turned off the lights in Taiwan stores one after another, and the Tainan Xinying Fuxing store will also close at the end of September, triggering speculation that the brand may withdraw from the Taiwan market. Lianfa International, 2756, urgently clarified, emphasizing that it is not withdrawing from Taiwan, but the 3 franchise stores that do not renew their contracts due to the expiration of their contracts will carry out brand transformation and restructuring plans, and are expected to launch a new look next year to continue to cultivate the Taiwan market. Since its establishment in 1992, Resting Pavilion currently has more than 500 stores worldwide and is actively deploying overseas markets. News highlights: Taiwan's per capita GDP is expected to exceed $4 next year, ranking among the top in the world, but most people do not feel the real income growth. Experts pointed out that the main reason is the appreciation of the Taiwan dollar and the decline in population, coupled with the fact that economic growth is mainly concentrated in the semiconductor and information and communication industries, and the wage growth of traditional manufacturing and service industries is limited, leading to the intensification of social M-shape. It is recommended that the government support technological diversification, promote cross-domain transformation and industrialization of the service industry, and strengthen international competitiveness to benefit more people through economic growth. News highlights: a high school student in Taichung was disqualified from 5 medical departments, including Yangming Jiaotong University, because his learning history file was mistakenly typed as best debater. He admitted that this experience was a test from heaven, and also shared the application materials to help his younger siblings, emphasizing that mentality adjustment and studying hard are the keys to success. News highlights: US President Trump signed an executive order to reduce Japan's automobile tariffs from 25% to 12.5%, and the total tariff rate after combining with the existing 2.5% tariff rate is 15%, and listed Japan as a target for equivalent tariff reductions to reduce the burden of overpaying taxes from August 7. In addition, Japan pledged to invest $550 billion in the United States and signed a memorandum of understanding that the United States will increase U.S. rice imports by 75%, Japan will exempt some aircraft, parts, and generic drugs from tariffs, and relax U.S. automobile import tests, further deepening trade cooperation between the two sides. News highlights: the head of the defense team surnamed Yang of the Baita police branch was reported for colluding with gambling operators, covering up baccarat casinos and ventilating reports during Wan Hua's tenure. The investigation found that the electronic playground of the Wan Hua Lion Forest building contained a luxury casino, and the person in charge, surnamed Li, colluded with the police officer surnamed Yang to leak the news of the temporary inspection. The operator surnamed Li paid 200 yuan in bail, and the other people involved in the case paid 80 yuan, and the prosecution continued to investigate whether more police officers were involved in the case. News highlights: a netizen hesitated to carry it abroad because the empty weight of the suitcase was about 4.9 kilograms, and he was worried that the weight limit of 10 kilograms was not enough. Netizens discussed it enthusiastically, and many people suggested using a foldable duffel bag, which is lightweight, easy to store, and can even be hung on the check-in suitcase trolley bar. Some people also think that the luggage is still more comfortable, especially when the shoulders are not heavy or need to carry a laptop, which can reduce the burden of carrying it. News highlights: a 100-year-old grandmother surnamed Gao in Taichung lived alone and fell and couldn't get up, and when she pressed the buzzer for help, she cried that her children had all passed away. After the news was exposed, it sparked discussion, Many only children are worried that they will need to take care of their parents in the future but have no siblings to share, and some people remind that long-term care tools such as smartwatches and emergency distress systems can reduce risks. News highlights: a lightning accident occurred in Hanoi, Vietnam on the 1st. A 26-year-old woman was struck by lightning while sharing a motorcycle with a male friend, and the woman died on the spot, and her helmet was burned and split in half. The man who was traveling with him was blown away by the electric current and fell to the side of the road. The accident occurred at 4 p.m. on the embankment road, when the weather was rainy. News highlights: after North Korean leader Kim Jong-un participated in the 93rd National Military Parade on the evening of the 4th, he held bilateral talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping for about 1 hour, which was the first meeting between the leaders of the two countries in 6 years. The two sides had an in-depth exchange of views on China-North Korea relations and issues of common concern, and Kim Jong-un emphasized that he would support China on issues of China's core interests such as Taiwan, Tibet, and Xinjiang. Xi Jinping said that China and North Korea will strengthen strategic communication and economic and trade cooperation. This meeting is on the same stage as the heads of state of China, North Korea, and Russia in the military parade, symbolizing the coordination and unity of the three countries in the face of pressure from the United States and allies. News highlights: Korean star Kim Jong-kook held a private wedding in Seoul today, 5th, inviting only the families and close relatives of both parties to attend, and it was held on a small scale. Running Man old partner Yoo Jae-seok served as the MC to witness the great joy of his friends. Kim Jong-kook announced the good news through a handwritten letter as early as August, and said that this year is the 30th anniversary of his debut. Although he has not produced a new album, he has completed the other half of his life first. The bride is low-key, and it is rumored that she is a 38-year-old representative of a cosmetics company in Los Angeles, USA, or a large businesswoman 20 years younger than him. News highlights: Thursday 4 Super Play broke out in 2023 with a collective resignation of employees, and former producer Chen Baekseong left and established a new channel, Digression Again. In September 2024, Kid, Kunda and other Thursday Generation Army retired to shock fans. After 2 years, Chen Baekseong released more than 2 hours of video, recording with Kunda, Orochimaru, Pepper, and Nick. Kunda confided in the film, saying that he slowly understood what happened after the disbandment, and tried to save it but was unable to do so. Chen Baekseong lamented that the audience is very weak, and the two still thanked the fans for their support. News highlights: Lin Wanting, a female police officer who became popular because of the 2023 Beishadan-gong-Tiangong-Mizu station, was recently promoted to the captain of the Chi City Government Police Department's Women's and Children's Police Team, and hung up a second-line 4-star epaulets. Lin Wanting hosted the Mizu residency event with a high-pitched voice, and the video that heated up the atmosphere of the audience went viral on the internet and became popular. She graduated from the Department of Crime Prevention and Control of the Central Police University and obtained a doctorate from the Institute of Crime Prevention and Control of National Chung Cheng University. News highlights: Line announced that it will adjust the time limit for message collection, and the function that can be retrieved within 24 hours will be shortened to within 1 hour after sending. This new system will be implemented in Japan and Thailand in late October 2025, and Taiwan and other places still maintain a 24-hour recovery period unaffected. Line reminds users that even if there is a recall function, they should send messages carefully to avoid being unable to delete them after the timeout. News highlights: North Korean leader Kim Jong-un held talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing after the CCP's 93 military parade, the first meeting between the two since 2019. During the meeting, Xi Jinping emphasized that China and North Korea share a common destiny and promised to support North Korea's development and deepen bilateral cooperation. Kim Jong-un said that no matter how the international situation changes, North Korea will continue to support China's position on core issues such as Taiwan, Tibet, and Xinjiang, and thanked China for its long-term assistance to North Korea's development. News highlights: on July 10, 2024, Xiaode, an Indonesian woman, died of heart failure and brain infection at Taiwan Adventist Hospital due to sudden heart failure and brain infection caused by picking up customers for up to 13 hours a day. The investigation found that she was defrauded by a Taiwanese man surnamed Hu and his Vietnamese wife Wu Ruan Kieng Gui to come to Taiwan with fictitious job vacancies and debts, and seized passports, mobile phones, and cash, forcing 20 Southeast Asian women to prostitute, receiving 8 to 10 groups of customers a day, with the salary of only a few hundred yuan. The police and the National Immigration Agency Task Force arrested 10 members. The main suspect and his wife were released on bail of 40 and 15 respectively. 7 victims were placed in asylum, and the rest were repatriated.